Hey guys, we're back. We're going to read from The Secret Language of Birthdays again. This time we're going to do Aries, as we are approaching Aries season, right? It only makes sense to do Aries. All three decans. All right. First, let's do the Aries personality in general, because we want to do that first, and then we'll go into the Aries Pisces Cusp and the three Decans of Aries. So Aries season is from March 21st to April 20th. And element is fire, quality or modality is cardinal, ruler is Mars, symbol the ram, mode intuition, and the motto is I am. The first house, I am. Aries is the first and most elemental of the 12 signs of the zodiac, representing the beginning of all things. As the first sign, it is primal in nature and resists divisiveness, analysis, or attempts to explain it. Aries represents the ego and the will in their purest form, without admixture or complication. So very simple. In reincarnative terms, it symbolizes the spirit or soul coming to earth, and in physical terms, the birth and early development of the infant child. Ruled by energetic and forceful Mars, the ram is fiery, prodigious, 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 impressively great in size, force, enormous extent. That's the definition of prodigious. Okay? And dynamic. It wishes to exist for its own sake rather than to understand itself through objective comparison. This positive entity strives for the purest manifestation. It simply is. As such, Aries does not take kindly to being misunderstood or mistaken for something which it is not. Aries can be seen as an evolutionary stage between Pisces and Taurus that transmutes, diffuses, watery and otherworldly energies into fixed, earthy, and practical ones. The Aries personality. If Aries signifies the first 7 years of life, the Aries personality can be likened to the human organism, which must be nurtured in order to survive, but soon undergoes a series of developmental steps which help it to understand its surroundings. This new being also starts to impact on its environment, gaining language, perception, socialization, and other survival skills in the process. Like young children, Aries tends to be spontaneous, frank, and open, but also a little self-centered and willful. Still innocent, they apprehend the world with awe and wonder. The urge to be the star and to shine is strong in them, but equally so the impulse to explore. Aries, generally speaking, do not seek approval to bolster their egos, but rather demand that others pay attention to them, since they know the value of what they have to offer. Self-doubt is poison to them, but unless they learn the value of introspection, they run the risk of breakdowns when their high self-confidence is undermined. Aries need to explore their physical limits, much as children do, in order to develop properly. They tend to prefer action to contemplation. For them, the best way to deal with a situation is not to ruminate on it at length, but to do something about it promptly. Aries can suffer acutely when their attempts to act are thwarted or delayed. For this reason, they may have to learn to withdraw from life periodically in order to gain objectivity and study problems from a distance. Aries often display a strong desire to lead. Those who manifest this need to be first, yet lack the necessary executive or leadership skills to do so, will find themselves frustrated, even prone to self-pity. At their best, Aries can be truly original and idealistic pioneers, but at their worst, only novelty-seeking, unfeeling egotists. So during within the periods, the different periods of Aries and then the cusp, right? The Pisces-Aries Cusp, which is from March 21st to the 24th, is the segment that represents an image of rebirth. Then Aries, the first decan of Aries, is March 25th to April 2nd. That image is the child. The second decan of Aries is from April 3rd to the 10th, and that image is the star. Aries, a third decan of Aries, is from April 11th to the 18th, and that is the image of the pioneer. And then the Aries and Taurus cusp, which is from April 19th and 20th, the image of power. That's very interesting indeed. You know, in Vedic astrology or sidereal, my moon is actually in Kritika, the Kritika nakshatra. This is so unrelated to this, but I just realized looking at the Aries Taurus cusp, because it's kind of like the cusp of where the moon is, or where my moon is. Anywho, Aries stones and uses: diamond enhances self-confidence. Ruby raises the fighting spirit. Emerald helps communication. And amethyst relieves headaches, because Aries rules over the head. You know how every part is represented by a different sign. Aries colors: all shades of red. Aries body areas: head, face, upper jaw, cerebrum, cerebrospinal system. Aries keys and compositions: A major, Seventh Symphony by Beethoven, and then Trout Quintet by Schubert, 23rd Piano Concerto, Mozart, and Sonata for Violin and Piano, Franck, F sharp minor, Preludes and Fugues from the Well-Tempered Clavier from Bach. Aries plants: poppy, thistle, and fern. Looked like an M for a second. Aries trees and shrubs: well, of course, the spring equinox, right? Firs, gorse, wild olive. And then from March 21st to April 14th, it's alder and pomegranate and dogwood. Then April 15th to the 20th, it's blackthorn and willow. Aries attractions to Gemini, Leo, Libra, and Scorpio. Interesting, because Libra is complete opposite of Aries. But Aries is also known as the very competitive spirit. So they actually enjoy challenges. So it's also not surprising at the same time. Aries notables: Leonardo da Vinci, Saint Teresa de Avila, Raphael, Jane Goodall, Samuel Beckett, Billie Holiday, Marlon Brando, Sarah Vaughan, Charlie Chaplin, Evelyn Ashford, Vincent van Gogh, Bach, Bette Davis, Hans Christian Andersen. All right, so now let's go look at the Decans. So now we're going to do Pisces-Aries Cusp first, which is from March 19th to the 24th. Zodiac position, approximately 27 degrees of Pisces to 4 degrees of Aries. The central concept is rebirth. Seasons, late winter and early spring equinox. Elements, water and fire. Qualities or modalities is mutable and cardinal. Rulers is a combo of Neptune and Mars. Symbols, the fish and the ram. And the modes are feeling and intuition. The Pisces-Aries cusp is an overlapping and admixture of the last sign of the zodiac Pisces and the first sign of the zodiac Aries. The PA cusp can be likened symbolically to the beginning of each human life on Earth, as well as literally being the beginning of the astrological new year. Thus, the PA cusp may be said to represent rebirth. Beginning the year with January 1st has more to do with today's prevailing calendar than with life cycles. It is a relatively new development in human history, since many civilizations saw the onset of spring, approximately March 21st in the Northern Hemisphere, as marking the year's beginning. This startup aspect is emphasized by the words for spring in various languages. Italian is primavera, French, printemps, Dutch, voorjaar. Voorjaar? Wisdom can be seen in this older way of looking at the yearly cycle, and instead of arbitrarily naming January 1st as the first day of the year, astrologers and other more traditionally minded thinkers prefer to consider the spring equinox, March 21st, as the first day. The days which comprise the PA cusp reveal not only the uncomplicated, fiery forwardness expected of Aries, but also watery Piscean traits of dreaminess, active fantasy, quietude, and sensitivity. The Pisces-Aries personality. Those born on the Pisces-Aries cusp are unusually direct in their approach to life, and their outspokenness can make them alternately admired or misunderstood. They are elemental, basic individuals who cannot and will not be denied, no matter what their station in life. Pisces-Aries people rarely see anything wrong with their actions and generally refuse to change their attitude or lifestyle for anyone. Even the mildest of them seem to carry a sense of infallibility about their person. Through insistence, they tend to get their way. Every cusp personality comprises conflicting elements, being influenced by two very different adjacent signs. Because the Pisces-Aries personality combines the watery Piscean traits of sensitivity and deep emotion with the fiery Aries traits of action and willfulness. People born on this cusp may prove puzzling to those unable to understand their curious admixture of passive and active characteristics. They can be at once dreamers and doers. However, as feeling intuitive types, they often lack earthy stability and hard mental objectivity. For this reason, their lives tend to show a great deal of conflict and flux. Those who do get to know Piscearians Better learn not to look for deeper reasons or ulterior motives behind their actions. Those born on this primal cusp resent being analyzed, feeling either rightly or wrongly that what they so openly present to the world is exactly what they really are. No more, no less. All self critical processes are painful for them, but their success in life will be directly proportional to their ability to remain objective about what they do and who they are. Some advice for the Piscean: learning patience is your most important task. Develop social skills through working alongside others. Try to curb your impetuous side. Weigh alternatives and consider the consequences before speaking or acting. Get to know yourself better as well. Pisces and Aries attractions. So people born in the Pisces-Aries cusp are generally most attracted to other cusp people, particularly those born on the Libra-Scorpio cusp, which is from October 19th to the 25th, and the Taurus-Gemini cusp, which is from May 19th to the 24th. And then some Pisces-Aries notables: Wyatt Earp. That's pretty cool. Glenn Close, Ovid, Ruth Page, Spike Lee. That makes sense, yeah. Ingrid Christensen, Johann Sebastian Bach, Fanny Farmer, William Shatner, Shaka Khan, Akira Kurosawa, Pat Bradley, Steve McQueen, and Joan Crawford. And now we're on the first decan of Aries. That's from March 25th to April 2nd. It is approximately 3 to 13 degrees of Aries. The central image is the child. Season, early spring. Element is fire. Quality is cardinal. Ruler is Mars. Symbol is the ram, and the mode is intuition. The first decan of Aries period takes the child as its central image, and because it can be likened to the earliest portion of a human life, its characteristics are typically those of wonder, awe, simplicity, curiosity, and primal energy. The days which comprise Aries I symbolically reveal the first explorations of a new person contacting the fresh and curious world around them. Each Aries I day illustrates another facet of the child's makeup and shows that though this newly emerged being is filled with wonder and awed by a bewildering complexity of sensory experience, it is tough and strong enough to survive. Aries I reveals the human dichotomy of a child's being able to absorb impressions and become part of its environment while at the same time preserving its own individual selfhood. The Aries I personality. Aries I people often display childlike characteristics. They tend to be open, frank, and energetic. Like children, they not only exhibit spontaneity and liveliness themselves, but also appreciate these qualities in others. Many Aries I people are criticized for having a naive or superficial approach to life. They are particularly sensitive to criticism and, in confrontational situations, tend to walk away when they feel misunderstood or withdraw to brood. In fact, others who wish to relate to them have to understand how deep their need for direct expression really is. Although they seem best suited to a public life and indeed enjoy pleasant social activities, the greatest difficulty for Aries I's may lie in getting along with other people in day-to-day mundane situations. Certainly, their freshness and charm stands them in good stead, and they know how to make a positive impression. Yet they are stubborn in their beliefs, and their idealism can act as a roadblock to compromise. Such inflexibility may become a serious barrier to easy give and take in daily life. Even those Aries ones who have tremendous drive to be out in the world as leaders may not be cut out for such positions. In fact, they may be too sensitive and lack the toughness needed for rough infighting. Though they are likely to have the tenacity to hang in there, they may not exhibit the same determination to move ahead. For this very reason, they are often found working in a fixed position as a member of a team. They may function well in such a position for years as long as they do not feel their ideals are threatened or that they are forced to take a back seat to someone they cannot respect. Aries ones generally have a low frustration level, but though they may flare up in anger, the storm usually passes quite quickly. Fortunately, because the personal vision of Aries I is pure in nature, doubts or suspicions held against them are also quick to fade, since others realize that scheming and malicious intent are foreign to the Aries I character. Perhaps the ideal situation for Aries ones is to be left alone without restrictions as much as possible. In terms of career, they do best when they have simple time and freedom to get the job done their way and also to innovate. In personal terms, those involved with Aries ones must make allowances for their extreme need for independence, but equally well their need for affection and sharing. So they're very simple types of people, right? It's just the basic things. As long as they get the basic needs there, and they must be heard, right? Don't ever ignore an Aries. That is the worst thing you could ever do. Ever. Never do that. So, but all in all, they're very simple people. Advice for Aries ones: cultivate your quiet side, yet do not neglect your aggressive urges or let them get bottled up inside. That would be very bad. Do not repress those. When you feel frustrated, try to understand the problem and then take the initiative. Find healthy solutions to let them out. Acknowledge your need for affection and support. Do not hesitate to ask for help when you need it. And then some Aries I notables: Arturo Toscanini, Aretha Franklin, Robert Frost, Sandra Day O'Connor, Miles Van der Rohe, Sarah Vaughan, Maxim Gorky, St. Teresa de Avila, Eric Idle, Jennifer Capriati, Vincent van Gogh, Astrid Gilberto, Cesar Chavez, Liz Claiborne, Toshiro Mifune, don't know if I said that correct, Ali McGraw, Hans Christian Andersen, and Emmy Lou Harris. Okay. Aries II, or the second Decan of Aries. The second Decan of Aries is approximately from 12 degrees to 21 degrees of Aries. The central image is the star. The season is early spring, element fire, quality cardinal, ruler Mars. The symbol is the ram, and mode intuition. The second Decan of Aries takes the star as its central image. It can be likened to the time when a child first emerges from its protected, nurturing environment, not only to become more aware of life around it, but perhaps also to feel itself at the center of what is going on. The days which comprise Aries II reveal a period characterized by experimental, initiatory, and social concerns. In human terms, this star of childhood is a shining, enthusiastic entity busy with its first attempt at self-definition, around which other figures revolve. The child develops a concept of self, or the ego formation, and refers to itself first using its own name and only later using the word and concept I. Only by constant experimentation can its environment be probed and understood. This process involves a certain amount of daring and of necessity going too far or too fast at times. Indeed, the natural assertiveness of the child must be made manifest in order for normal development to take place. The Aries II personality are distinctly success-oriented, so they're very much zoned focused on their goals and achieving them. Their way of making it in society generally involves attracting attention. So, yet many Aries IIs have the strength and fortitude to proceed in developing their projects, whether they are noticed or not. So, regardless of whether or not they are noticed, they still have the stamina to successfully achieve their project's goal. Sooner or later, when those around them become aware of their personality and accomplishments, then Aries IIs can become the center of much interest, which they, of course, enjoy, to the point of developing a following which adores or even worships them. Normally, they are able to accept such devotion in an easy fashion. Well, I mean, who wouldn't, right? Unless you're an Aquarius. However, this should not imply that all Aries IIs are egotists. Curiously, because they are usually freed from the struggles others go through to be noticed, they may show an actual lack of egotism. In following their dreams, they somehow manage to leave their own personalities behind. The downside of this is that many emotions and feelings may be denied them. Indeed, those who seek to touch an Aries II person on a direct emotional level may find themselves rebuffed. Furthermore, many Aries IIs are not known for great displays of empathy or sympathy toward others. In fact, they can be rather lonely and aloof. Nonetheless, Aries IIs do have a great need for a sympathetic and perhaps insightful mate or close friends who can help them understand themselves and their role in life, because their realistic assessment of events may not be so astute. They can come to rely heavily on an advisor whom they can trust. Those Aries IIs who never connect with such a person may feel themselves adrift. There is no denying the tendency of Aries IIs to exaggerate their own importance. True, they may in fact be indispensable to the life around them, be it family or career, but they can also arouse great antagonism if they lose sight of the interconnectedness of an organization or entity. Also, since Aries IIs are highly goal-oriented, they tend to externalize their personal interior challenges. Consequently, they may not work out their inner problems or get to know themselves better. Faced with difficulties where external solutions are of no avail, they may seek to find answers. They may then seek to find answers inside themselves and welcome needed personality changes. The most successful of Aries IIs, having undergone such growth, are able to be themselves while still allowing friends, coworkers, and family members their chance to shine. Some advice for Aries IIs: resist overwhelming people with your energy. Act responsibly. Try not to be too needy of attention and beware of leading others on. Confirm your inner values and develop hidden talents. Some Aries II notables: Jane Goodall, Helmut Kohl, Muddy Waters, Bette Davis, Gregory Peck, Janet Lynn, Merle Haggard, Billie Holiday, Jerry Brown, Betty Ford, Mary Pickford, Paul Robeson, Frances Perkins, and John Madden. All right, so now we are on to the third decan of Aries. This is from approximately 20 to 29 degrees of Aries. Central image is the pioneer. Season is early spring. Element is fire. Quality is cardinal. Ruler Mars. Symbol the ram. And mode intuition. The third decan of Aries period takes the pioneer as its central image, symbolizing the further socialization of the child. It pictures a personality displaying humanity and taking an active interest in group activities, along with cutting his or her first adult teeth. The pioneer begins to come to grips with the vast repository of human culture through reading, writing, and the media. The days which comprise of Aries III show a personality unfolding against the backdrop of social issues and activities. In the grand cycle of life, the Aries III period occupies the time when a person demonstrates an interest in learning and begins the formal educative process. Adjusting to rules and also breaking them figure strongly in this development. The child now clearly belongs to a group in which it can practice cooperation, leadership, and defensive skills. The spirit of exploration is strong here and accompanies the desire of the child to make its mark on its immediate environment and perhaps go beyond it. The Aries III period shows more group involvement than is traditional for the sign of Aries, anticipating the powerful social expression of the upcoming sign of Taurus. The Aries III personality. Aries III people are often taken up with social issues. Unlike other more self-centered Aries personalities, the child and the star, they see themselves acting in the larger context and are not so concerned with their own personal image. Aries IIIs are very interested in the rules which govern social interaction and politics. They enjoy studying the traditions of their particular field, and as a result of this, usually go in one of two directions, either upholding it by adopting a conservative stance or by opposing it as an iconoclast. The latter individuals, however, generally become more conservative once they have succeeded in implementing their own rules of conduct. As mentioned, the pioneering spirit is strong in the Aries III personality. Aries IIIs are born leaders who do not hesitate to roll back frontiers and push on beyond established limits. Often through the force of their personality, rather than ideas, they can inspire others to follow them. However, regardless of how dynamic Aries IIIs are, they rarely overlook their fellow human beings or forget their responsibilities toward them. Aries IIIs often nurture a highly individual understanding of people, which can come to be their most treasured possession. They display great faith in the power of human thought to transform the world into a better place. One of the main difficulties engendered by Aries IIIs is that in their zeal to better conditions around them, they can actually cause suffering, often due to an inability to operate outside anything but the highest ideals. Although they demand the best for others, they can lose sight of what it is that others really want. Furthermore, they can find themselves from time to time at the mercy of unscrupulous people who seek to manipulate them, primarily by pretending to understand or believe in their endeavors. Some advice for Aries IIIs: tune into what people are really saying. Beware of those who wish to monopolize your time and energy. Ideals and ideas can be worthy of devotion, but also destructive. Make sure that others want to be helped or led before you offer. Try to keep in touch with the actual state of things. Beware of being carried away by your own enthusiasm. Some notables for Aries IIIs: Ethel Kennedy, Charles Evans Hughes, Tama Janowitz, Dennis Banks, Madeline O'Hare, Thomas Jefferson, Loretta Lynn, Bessie Smith, Leonardo da Vinci, Evelyn Ashford, Charlie Chaplin, Isaac Denison, Nikita Khrushchev, Queen Federica of Greece, and Tado Mazowiecki. I have no idea who that is. Nice. Very cool. Well, I hope you guys liked this. That was Aries, all three decans.